so happy to talk to you. How are you doing? How is this mama to be?
No, look. Woo!
Like,
40 weeks already.
oh my God.
But I feel really good and strong.
And you look so beautiful. Look at you. Oh my God, I'm so happy. Thank you for this. I love that you have a Chihuahua in the back.
You know,
back of your...
This is the only Chihuahua I own. It's the only one I've ever owned. But look. And then the tail goes.
Oh, okay.
It's so cute. But my next dog will be a Chihuahua. I think. Yes.
You know that I have Cookie with me. But anyway, we're gonna have a nice conversation. Why don't we start by saying your full name and what is it that you do?
Oh, my complete full name is Rachel Louise Grant de Longueuil. Right. So I suppose I do a variety of things. I'm an actress. I've had quite a good career as an actress and a TV host, particularly in the world of travel. And I get involved with a lot of charitable projects. And I would say more recently, well, in the last 10 years, that's my legs. And more recently, in the last 10 years, I was involved more in the Philippines with an organization that helps poor communities. And I got interested in developing a line of pet products, and in turn it can help poor communities and also raise awareness of, there's a lot of street animals in the Philippines. And I got very interested in the work with some of the organizations there. I like it. Whenever I visit a country, I will make a point, and I really believe there's no trip that you should ever take without visiting a community project, because you really get a glimpse of the heart of the people, because that's where the true essence of a country really lies, in the humble, within those communities, whether it's a school or whether it's an orphanage or just a community doing something and coming together. And the good thing about doing something like that is you get to meet local people and they get to befriend you. So you leave with lots of friends. So every country I visited, and I visited a lot, like over 80, I will always aim to do that.
Well, I mean, that obviously speaks volumes of you. And anyone that can go to your Facebook can go through the adventures of your travels, through all the albums, the photos that you have in there. Yeah. But I want to go through some of them. I want to go through some of them that I I pick and choose here and there some of the pictures, so you can tell me about them. And of course, the first one was the one that I was showing before about you in the movie.
Yes, that's right. That's Pierce Brosnan as James Bond. Yeah, so I was in a movie opposite him called Die Another Day. It's a James Bond film with Halle Berry and Rosamund Pike and, of course, Pierce Brosnan. And I play an assassin who is posing, who's pretending to be a masseuse. And she works for Chinese intelligence. And in fact, he finds a gun strapped to my inner thigh. And that's the gun. Yes?
I was going to say that gun went through an adventure itself.
Yes, absolutely. It has a strange story. The gun is a beautiful gun. It's ivory. Obviously, it's old, and I don't recommend ivory products now, but it's an ivory gun, very small, a real gun, old, antique, and it was used in the movie. And then, the James Bond, all the props are kept because they're worth quite a lot of money. They're collectible, and it's sold on auction for around $10,000, and that was in 2006. And somebody collected it. It was going to be part of a museum and a tour for the release of the next James Bond film. But the house was burgled. The house is in London. It was burgled earlier this year. And along with other James Bond guns, so I think 5 guns were taken. And they found this gun actually in a field. So the person that stole the items stole other things and didn't realize that these guns were valuable. But they found the gun and the gun had rusted. It lost its barrel. It doesn't look very good anymore, but at least they found it. But it had, as you said, it went through a little bit of an adventure.
Yeah.
So maybe they can.
I wonder if that increased value because of the story, you know.
No, that would be a nice
And
thought.
then, yeah, I know I went through your albums and I saw, you know, all your travels and adventure, but this picture, I was cracking up when I saw it.
Oh my gosh, I've got my head in a toilet. That is in the Philippines. That's a quirky restaurant in Boracay, which is a beautiful island called the Toilet Restaurant. Boracay toilet restaurant, and you eat everything out of. I actually bought one of those bowls. You eat everything out of like these bowl-shaped, you know, toilet bowl. Do you know the all the napkins, a toilet roll, and then you sit. If you see the seats in the background, they're all toilet seats.
That was so funny, and I am like, okay, you really have done everything. You have eaten from a toilet bowl.
Funniest is where you ask the waitress, excuse me, but where's the toilet? And she looks at you. Yeah. And then, but the names, the menu, if you look at the menu, it has very strange names, like kind of like gross names, like for example, I can't remember offhand, but like chop suey would be like chop pooey or something like that. And then the ice cream, like the dessert is like shaped like poop, you know, like dog poop and like brown chocolate and stuff. I think the craze started in Japan or Korea, and then, you know, it's an Asian thing. But it's funny.
And then you are a master of karate, the martial arts.
This is a Filipino martial art form. It's called Pali Eskrima. Yes, it's the kind of martial art they use a lot in movies, Hollywood films. So I trained at the Inner Santo Academy in Los Angeles. So, you know, we use a lot of swords, sticks. We learn to fight with weapons. This is like, yes?
What was this about? Tell me about that.
Oh, that was in Alaminos, in a place called, it's a hotel called Islandia. And the mayor of the place was welcoming me there because they do a lot of wonderful restoration and conservation in this beautiful area called 100 Islands. And I went, we were like putting coral back in the ocean. We went to see their giant clam restoration program. They do a lot of good work for the environment, and it's and with some of the wildlife there. And I wanted to see more of that in the Philippines. You know, people are always doing a lot of work with people and children in the communities, but I had a look at some of the more environmental projects and the ones working with marine life, because they've got wonderful marine life there. That's what I was doing there.
It must be beautiful.
It is very nice, I have to say. There was a time in the 1980s that they would use dynamite fishing in this area, and they destroyed a lot of the coral. So they've actually had a lot of conservation program and putting back the coral in. So they've really made, you know, if you really work at these programs, it really makes an improvement quickly.
Okay, so what is this?
Oh wow, that is in New Zealand, I think. Well, yes, that was in New Zealand. I went on a trip around New Zealand promoting a book I had written that had also I'd written, it was a shared book with a New Zealand author, and we were writing about charitable efforts in the Philippines, inspiring things in the Philippines, whether it was a ballet teacher, a dancing teacher that would find talent within the slums and you know, bring these young girls in and teach them for free, and they become prima ballerinas, to a football coach finding footballers that are really talented and competing in the Homeless World Cup. It was inspirational stories. So I was promoting a book there.
Okay, let's talk about this.
Oh gosh, this is interesting. Oh, this is foldable luggage. Oh, look,
Uh-huh.
really skinny there. Now I've got a big round belly. This is foldable luggage. This is a company called Biagi, and I
Mm-hmm.
started working for them in 2011. Now, what's strange is I'm now actually married to one of the entrepreneurs that started. It's very difficult to launch a product, and particularly a new concept on something that is just so, people don't want to get, like, do you know when they first put wheels on luggage?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody,
Mm-hmm.
you know how everybody used to just carry a suitcase and there was no such thing as
Mm-hmm.
physical luggage? So
Yeah.
the guy that invented wheels on luggage, nobody wanted his idea. He didn't patent it. He never made any money off it. He invented a suitcase with two wheels. Macy's turned it down. Everybody turned it down. They laughed at it. So when when my husband and his father, they came up with this concept about folding luggage, because luggage is big, people were very kind of
Mm-hmm.
weird to kind of like be into the idea. So the company went under. He went on Shark Tank. My husband did, and it's doing
Uh-huh.
very well now. Although
Mm-hmm.
it's nobody's traveling at the moment. So during COVID, it's been a little bit of a tough
Yeah.
time. But luckily the company will survive, and people will come back traveling.
Okay. Have they come up something for to carry the dogs?
We have thought about that. So actually, I do a lot of the some of the bag design, because I actually can make things. You're very talented
Yeah.
with your things. I know you can do. No, so we have thought about it, like a foldable bag case or something. But I know that there's a lot
Mm-hmm.
out there on the market. So we're not sure yet. We're not sure. Maybe one day.
Okay. What was this?
This was in a place called Gatlinburg in Tennessee, and I was the grand marshal for the Christmas
Oh.
parade. And you stand at the front of the parade and you go through like miles and miles and miles of people waving, and you just wave. But I was wearing a little dress and a cloak, and I was freezing for about 2 or 3 miles. I was so cold, but it was
Oh.
really nice to do. They treated me.
Well, you have been all around the world. You have done so many things. So I'm gonna ask you,
Right.
what comes to your mind when you hear the word Chihuahua?
Oh, Chihuahua. Right now, what comes to my mind, I think, lovely, cute little bundle of love. That's all dog. There's so much dog there. So I never really loved a Chihuahua until about I met my first Chihuahua maybe about 10 years ago. 2 of them.
Oh, really?
One of them was
Aw.
with me for Thanksgiving, actually. I had a Chihuahua in the house because my friend came, and I completely fell in love with them. They fell in love with me too. They sleep on
Uh-huh.
my head. So I always used to say, and I never imagined that a tiny dog so small could be such a big dog in so many ways. So I've always said, for my next dog, I'm going to have a Chihuahua. Do you know the dog that I had this year for the fashion show? The little black.
We decided to adopt her.
Oh, you did. She's grown. She's lovely. She's beautiful. If I had no dog then, I would have adopted her. I had that blonde wig on her. Oh, she looked so funny. She was a blonde wig. I'm so happy you adopted her.
She has a good home.
Oh, if I was a Chihuahua, I think I would only pick one home to be in.
So, do you have any dogs right now?
Yes. Do you want me to get them?
Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah, come on, jump. So this is Kia. She's a rescue. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm going to give you a treat. She's a rescue. She came from
good girl.
Southampton Animal Shelter. Ooh.
Okay.
So the other one might come. Glory. She might come, but do you know what happened to her? She's 14 and she tore her ACL.
Yeah.
She's a little slow, but here's one of them.
And how old? Yeah.
She's 8. She's
8.
Old,
okay, so you have seniors dogs now.
Yeah, she is very lovely. She's a sweet dog. She's a good girl. She's very gentle. You know that I saw her playing with a mouse once, because we have a big garden at the back. So there's a lot of wildlife out there. And I saw her catch a mouse. She played with it. She had it in her mouth. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you going to do? And then she put it down. And then she was like nudging it and to make it go away. And she didn't even harm it. Yeah.
Oh, that's
so sweet.
That's so how you're making a transition for them to understand that they're having a new family member coming.
The baby. You know, I'm not too sure. So I've read about things that you can do, like you can play like a baby crying. If I keep playing the noise of a baby crying, that's one way for them to get used to it, apparently. Another thing is to make them smell like the baby clothes and the diapers, the nappies.
Yeah. But they don't have that yet.
No, I know. So I'm not really sure. And then I also read that actually, because I was quite happy about this, dog owners make if I can say this, some people might object, are tend to be better prepared to be parents, which is interesting because you know how what it's like to raise a puppy. I raised a puppy once living in Manhattan in an apartment. I was waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning, not to breastfeed, to put my clothes on and walk the dog around the dog. And it's hard, you know, and you take them to the vet when they're sick, you feed them. So, you know, we know how to obviously a baby is completely different, but it is a little bit of training and insight into hopefully what's to come.
Do you have any names stored? Are you looking into names already?
I have a few ideas, but I don't really have anything set yet in stone. Yeah.
Do you know their sex or not? It's gonna be a surprise.
I do know.
You're not telling?
Not yet.
So where are you staying right now? Are you in the United States? Are you in England? Where are you right now?
I'm in New York.
So the baby's gonna be a New Yorker?
Oh my gosh, I never thought
it
about
looks like.
And I definitely have to stay safe at the moment because of COVID.
Yes.
Yeah, that's we don't really see anyone at the moment. And for Thanksgiving, we had friends come around and we actually got them rapid COVID tests before they entered the house. But they brought their dogs. Luckily, dogs don't have COVID.
Is there anything that you would like to share with people? Like, I mean, I want to post where they can, your Facebook pages and your YouTube channels and all of that, the links.
Oh, the only thing I was going to mention, although we have changed the branding, I was talking to you about the work I do in the Philippines. So I developed with a company called Human Nature. It's an all natural line, and it does really good work for the underprivileged communities in the Philippines. So it's a social enterprise. So a lot of the money goes back into the community. So I helped develop this line with the company Human Nature. We have changed the branding a bit, but I wanted to mention that. Yes.
Which group are you working in the Philippines with the dogs?
Oh, there's an organization I support called PAWS, PAWS, like a dog paw, and that stands for the Philippine Animal Welfare Society. Yes. Yeah. So, and they do like great, amazing dedication and work with animals. Like they have, there's a lot of, the type of animals they deal with there that's brought in are on a completely different level to the animals that we have here in shelters. Like the work that they do with these animals, and some of them might have rabies or infections, and so it's completely different work, and I was completely blown away by their dedication.
Well, I won't take you much time. Thank you, Rachel, for this little conversation. Yes, and I'm so I can't wait to hear from the baby.
Look, I wore my little scarf that my mum gave me.
Look at the scarf. It's so cute with the dogs. You were prepared. We're totally prepared.
She knows I love dogs. I do love dogs.
Yes, I know. So nice, I know. You're being supported. And we love you. We love you. Okay, we love you. Thank you.
Hope to see you again.
Okay.
Bye.